August 13, 2020. How are you, my friends? This is a peace going on in the world between Israel and the United Arab Emirates. What a big declaration. I said and repeated that in this week toward the gate of the lion that is occurring in August 18th, this is going to be a major declaration. And it's also recommended to each one with his own inner government to declare things or to promise himself or to the showing universe a signal about what is going to do, because this is going to change the world. This is the New World Order activation starting this week. We just had for the last few days Mars 22 degrees, exactly squaring the point when all this crazy year started, when Pluto and Saturn met in 22 degrees. And this is year of the 2020. It's all very symbolism this year with the 22 degrees, with the number 22 and 2020. That also we saw many times, 3 times Venus and Neptune did a square 20 degrees, 20 squaring 20. And this is a new world order and new alliances, new connection, new coalitions. Those are new militias and groups that are starting configuring in the world and is going to change the atlas in the coming years. So this so much important declaration in the time of Leo, with such a surprising month of a full moon in Aquarius square by Uranus, meaning that it should be surprising related to sovereignties. And we are seeing this in that surprising way, and we could understand here the strategy. This is a big strategy going on here in a geopolitical point of view. The Saudis, United States has good connection and interest with the Saudis and with Israel. Meantime, for the last years, we saw how the rest of the Middle East is get weakened and weakened. Syria destroyed, Iraq destroyed, and now just 1 week before this, Beirut is weakened, destroyed, and now taking a one line connection between the Saudi area, which is the resource of oil and the richness of this zone, and Israel. And this could create a brand new structure. Is it surprising that Beirut, which has a little bit of a threat voice or smell with Hezbollah sitting there, that is financed by Iran, which is the enemy in the zone that remained alive? And 1 week after, we are seeing, and it must be a major declaration now, because this is Mars, the militant side, is squaring Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn toward the end of the month. And this is a tension timing before the election to happen in November. And since months ago, I'm saying that it's going to be a shocking surprise toward November, because Mars is still going direct, and at least the declaration came out to the air, and it's a very important. Who is working with the planets correctly could achieve a good achievement. And some people are feeling right now very much pressured down and could feel very losers, because this is about the race for the winner. Who is the strongest? We are seeing also this happening in the markets. I will speak a few words about the market. As I mentioned something a week ago about the 18th of August, which is this lion gate, when Mercury with a new moon in Leo is happening at the same time next to the star Regulus, the heart of the lion. Very important timing, and just in the midst of Mars squaring those big control system. The mission here is to control the world. This is the 3 planets that are trying to conjunct, and Mars is squaring them and activating them. So we are going to see, because Uranus is going to do here a big surprises. And I'm seeing that we not We cannot be happy too fast. A lot of changes to come. But very interestingly, looking today on the natal chart of Israel, Venus return. Venus in Cancer, speaking about home, speaking about love. Venus of Israel is in Cancer. And today, Venus exactly on Venus of Israel. So very much speaking about peace. Venus is related to love and international connection because Venus of Israel is in the 9th house. On the same time, today, the South Node is on the galactic center. Things that we couldn't believe, things from the past, wars from the past, 27 degrees exactly conjuncting Jupiter of Israel. Jupiter of Israel in a very strong place. Jupiter of Israel on the galactic center is something very powerful. And the South Node is on this today, together with the Venus return. So it's a big news to Israel. And it's a big alignment. And also Neptune conjuncting with Juno. Big connection with, it was a very, for many years, diplomatic relationship between the Saudis and Israel. For the interests of the US and different things that were happening beneath the surface. But what is happening on the Saudi natal chart today is also, it's not just today, is something that we're speaking about the outer planets. First of all, the Saudi Arabia is experiencing in those months Saturn return. So this is something very karmatic that is maturing to next level. But not only this, they are experiencing Pluto opposition. Pluto. This is a new phase and era that is starting in Saudi Arabia future. And Neptune on the North Node. So it's something divine. This is a connection. Go back to the history and the Bible time. You know, all the history that we learn today, all was written from the Middle East. All the story there. And Israel always was sitting on where they exported things to the Roman Empire then, and it was a strategy. Also, when Iran conquered all the Middle East and control until including Israel, it always was a very strategic area between the inside land to the Mediterranean. So on the same time, we understand that Mars is get ready to start a retrograde. And it's going to square again Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto. So we understand that something strong is coming in the world. On the same time, the last days we are listening, it's not very much published in the main medias. Navy's power, military boats, navy power of Greece, Turkey, and yesterday France to the area of the Mediterranean. Beirut was years ago controlled by France. And this area also the fight for the pipe gas, if I say correctly. What is needing is like a competitor of the sovereignty of the US, right? So all this area, do the math, with this explosion, with this weakening momentum in such a crazy timing in the world, in a very strategic area of Beirut. Syria is out of the game, very weakened. As I said, Iraq as well. Jordan is almost non-considered. Egypt, very poor. And this is all what happened already since 10 years ago with the Arab Spring. And as I've said, we are going to the democracy spring, meaning the rebel against government. And all those declarations, Israelis people don't want anymore the prime minister to continue. In Lebanon, the people are screaming, conquest us. We don't want this government. They even say, and Israel suddenly offer help, humanitarian help there. And, this is something huge is happening. This is, of course, Pluto and Saturn conjunction in Capricorn, cycle of 500 years, empire changes, borders, situation, our reality, and now the South Node on the galactic center. We are realizing the reality from different perspective, going to understand the world from different way. And because the North Node is in Gemini, we need to do new connections. And the way that we need to prepare ourselves to the future is by gathering information and doing coalitions with the right people. This is why we need to speak about like-minded people and being on the right frequency, because this is what will save you now. You cannot stand there saying, I'm independent, like Jupiter, like Sagittarius. I'm independent. I'm doing all alone. I don't need everybody. Everything will be okay. This is the time that we need to combine connections and doing things. Because who will succeed to do the biggest and strongest coalition is going to win here. And the other coalitions that are building up for time now and going to go to next phase by those events that may come in the coming months are China, Iran, and Venezuela. And those are another important, powerful places that have a lot of gold, a lot of Bitcoin, and a lot of bonds of US debt or others. But however, they are very much resourceful with the thing they have, and doing such coalition and maybe joining other countries will be a game changer. And I suspect that this second group that I mentioned, China, Venezuela, Iran, sort of going to join, specifically China, the some South America countries that right now are underdog of the United States and will maybe buy their debt because they are all synced in very big problems economically. And let's see, this is the big play of the countries, of the rulers. We are in Leo time. Who is the king? And where is your kingdom in your simple, small life? How you are managing, what you are doing to improve your situation. Because some people will finish the underdog and some people will finish the winner. And you need to do the best you can in your area as well to be prepared, or at least to be aligned with such energy that can support you. Yeah, I said months ago that July, August are very strong time for relationships. And we saw already this Venus conjunction the North Node. It was a very faded relationships, and also between countries. And look what they are bringing to the world. And they just announced a little ago that another country will join to this peace with Israel. So this is changing the status quo, you know. And in such day that the South Node on Jupiter of Israel and Venus return. But something is going to destroy the party somehow. I suspect, first of all, Mars is about to retrograde from next month. And October is going to be brutal with the square to the 3 control planets. And what I'm seeing in Israel is very, very big surprise. Something is going to happen there. I don't see destruction, but I see, probably as the sovereignty that they wanted and delayed to declare about the Palestinian areas, that all will be recognized as Israeli territory. It's going to be probably a war of conquering or taking like another empire. Now it won't be just on the right of Israel, maybe a new country or a new zone, maybe the new European Union of so many countries that were in war in Europe become European Union. Who knows? Maybe it's going to happen in the Middle East, and the Middle East will be the United, I don't know what name they will put, but this is a peace between Jews and Arabs that, anyhow, always. We're our brothers, are from the same story, from the same roots. So interesting time. So what is coming in October? Uranus. Okay, this is something in Uranus, and it's going to last for the next year. Going to be major changes in the zone. Uranus on the north node, and the north node on Uranus. So very, very big surprises and expansion. Expansion. It's all a work with the north node. It's something to the unknown and impossible to predict Uranus. And Uranus is just starting this week, today, the retrograde, or tomorrow. So it's going to create a lot of different events that we could not predict. It's just, as I say always, you should be very lucky to predict Uranus behavior. But it's something very faded that going to change the zone. Now, I'm suspecting that it will be a tension between other countries that will have envy because of such strategy. Turkey, Greece right now are starting to move powers, and France too. Yeah, and they are trying to sign this contract before the election in November. And what we have in November? Another last time. Jupiter-Pluto conjunction in 22 degrees, exactly on the grave of where Saturn and Pluto met, the structure. But we are going to understand here something. In both of those conjunctions, Jupiter and Pluto, we saw shut off of flights, we saw closing borders. It was with Jupiter is always speaking about countries and borders. And maybe for the third time, exactly on the place of the New World Order, Pluto Saturn, it's going to be a breakdown of the borders. This is a dream that the entire Middle East will be a one region that you could drive and connect and like divided to states, but part of the same. But I don't know if it's ideal, because we understand that the control system here is very, very greedy and bad. And don't blame one specific country or not. This is a super conscious program here that is tending to control the world. And Uranus here is speaking about the people. And people are awakening right now. And this is enlightening time with the sun in Leo and Mercury there. We can understand things within ourselves. People will not accept very much draconian contracts on our back. Things from the history, came right now. South Node on the galactic center. It's not what exactly we thought will be ideal. It's going to be another things. It's not enough that just countries will do peace with each other by contracts. People also should do connections and interaction between each other and other cultures. If I'm saying correctly. This is a lot of surprise to come. And October is very aggressive. Wow. Really, wow. I'm offering with a little everyone can do just for case to prepare for a war. Even that we're speaking today about a peace, and it's also going to touch in the United States. The United States natal chart is very hard. With the South Node, with the North Node rising on Mars of the United States in the coming months, and all those transits that are happening worldwide, the general transits are very strong. So also, this Uranus that I've just mentioned, even on Israel or others, it could be related to earthquakes and all those unexpected things. Yeah. This is something that will change the plan. I would like to say, yeah, we even with prediction, Uranus, this is the black hole of astrology. We don't need to understand. We just can have a different looks and and perspective how to get used to how to stand to take the energy correctly, but not knowing exactly how. Now, I would like to say here something that I've showed already to my live chart subscribers in S&P. I indeed showed I showed an extension from August 4th that I suspected to be a very fragile area to initiate a weakness to create a fall strongly, and extended it into August 18th. Indeed, August 18th is still a possibility. Understand before I finish what I want to say, astrology is not showing us one way 100%. There are always different ways, and those are more probabilities of how to interpret the aspects. And because I'm doing together with another factors, not just astrology alone, and it's updated. Like you are seeing the hurricane starting above the ocean, the forecast is saying that on this day it's going to touch Miami. But a little bit of a shift of the wind is making it arrive to another location and maybe 2 days after, right? So this is sort of the thing that I'm building my models. And something is building up. It's still far to be confirmed. I need few more days, but S&P shows that it won't be a break in August 18th. It's still a weakness there. Between the 16th to the 19th, I can see a drop, but it won't take something disaster. It could do some, but it can take us to all times high, to the level of the 36, 3700 by September 5th. So in the end of the day, if this option is correct, I extend in the final absolute way from August 4th fragile area to a higher price in September 5th area. This is crazy because the entire market is connected to millions of people and opportunities and optionalities. If everybody now will listen to my videos and say, Osher said, it won't take this. So the more people won't believe me, usually most of my prediction will, because the algorithm will see what I'm seeing from the other side. And everybody right now are waiting for the drop, right? But together with the sign up of the peace contract or others, or anything that will be declared with the oil price, that is of course to support the USD and this. And remember, we have right now another project in Mars that is on the way to land there since the end of July. A lot of things are going on. And take in mind that it could take here to all times high, and more than just a little typical correction, still above the 3,100 even, but to do some 200 points drop could be a possibility, but could take us to the places that I'm seeing higher. And I'm showing this in the live chart if you would like to see this. So this is my update of today, August 13, 2020. Very potent week, a lot of stress, a lot of masculine energies and militant energy working with Mars and this square, and more things that are happening toward the meeting of the messenger Mercury with the Sun in the heart of the Lion. This is an opportunity for a quantum leap for you, or anything, any conscious alive that would like to take advantage of this time in declaring, in doing any. But Uranus is just starting the retrograde. So we must to take a risk here. It's nothing going to be final. There's a lot of trial and error. Some trials will get success. Some will need to be checked until January if working or not. When we are involved with Uranus, this is always a mystery here. This is the beauty of life. To trust and to allow being surprised. But not Neptune, not illusionary, but following the higher guides, like a very inner knowing, not just dreaming. Until the next video, bye for now.